There he is. Okay. For a second, he was gone. There he is.
Hello.
Hi, Jesse.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having
Jesse,
me.
I have to tell you, I see your flag behind you. We were just talking. Well, I've got the sorting hat here with me. And Shelley was just showing us some of her new products. She has a company called Conquest Journals, and they do licensed Harry Potter stuff. And she just got her new to-do lists and planners.
Oh my God.
I know. And then I've got, so many Harry Potter things. And then,
yeah, I should that. At some point, I'll have to turn this around because we got a bit of a Harry Potter theme room going here too. I've spent far too much on Harry Potter memorabilia. I got wands. I got the Sword of Gryffindor in here. Like a bunch of fun stuff. Yeah.
Do you have the Noble Collection Sword of Gryffindor in there?
Here, I'll show you.
Oh yes, please.
There it is.
Oh, nice. Beautiful.
Sorry, I'm trying to.
And look at
there we go.
And your broom too. Is that a Nimbus 2000?
Yeah, I don't really like that one. Here, I'll show you though.
I don't like that one.
There's the Marauders map there. There's a bunch of wands in that case. There's Nimbus 2001.
Oh, look at that one.
Oh my gosh. Oh, we're best
I have a
friends
Harry Potter themed guest room, and yours is killing the game, man.
Yeah, 100%.
Full on nerd.
Yeah. So, are you Gryffindor then? You've got the sword.
I actually, you would think my dad's Gryffindor. I'm actually Ravenclaw. I've done the test twice, and that's what I got each time. So I'll take it. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. So, well, I'm Gryffindor. Shelley
Excellent.
Shelley's Slytherin.
I am.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. Kitsie.
I'm Gryffindor as well.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Look at you guys. Okay, so we've got a good spread here.
We do. We don't need those Hufflepuffs.
Yeah, I totally agree. They got their new series of movies. They're doing fine.
Right. We were just talking about that, the Fantastic Beasts series. Yeah. So let me ask you, Jesse, because we were we were divided. There's a couple of other girls that rotate through our show, the kind of nerdy girls. And
we're the women.
And they are
our girls. Yeah.
They're the millennials.
Right, of course. Right? Okay.
And they are not pleased with the Fantastic Beasts movies.
You show me anything in that world and I'm gonna like it for the most part. I had no issue with it. I understood that she's, I think that the issue with the second movie was, she's a novelist and she was writing a screenplay that she probably tried to put too much into it. There was maybe some backstory there that wasn't needed. I mean, there is a scene in that movie where they kind of stopped the whole movie to explain the plot from two different perspectives. But I mean, I liked it. I saw it like 4 times in theaters. I'm, they can do no wrong with me. So I'm easy to please.
Same.
Have you listened to gone to Wizarding World and listened to Daniel Radcliffe read the first chapter?
No, I haven't done that yet, but I wanted to do that. I thought you meant had I gone to the theme park, which I have. But no, I haven't gone on Pottermore yet for the readings. I'm going to though. Yeah, I saw that he's reading the first chapter of Philosopher's Stone, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I think they've got like a different actress for everyone.
They have they do. Broadway Hermione, and I don't remember her name. Broadway Hermione is reading chapter 2.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Okay, cool.
So I already started on chapter 2 today. Yeah.
Nice. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, that's so exciting.
Yes. And you've been to the park? Have you been to the one in Florida, or did you go to London?
I went to the one in Florida, but I also on a trip a couple years ago with the family in London, we went to Leavesden and we did the studio tour, which was
so amazing.
Really
so
cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
So much fun. But most of this is from the Wizarding World in Florida, the stuff that I bought.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
I've got what did I get? We didn't have time to go to the studios, but we went to Platform 9 3/4. We actually went to King's Cross, and I don't know what I would be like in the studios because I cried like a baby in that store.
I was crying Covered in goosebumps. Absolutely amazing. Yeah.
I got teared up. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Jesse, we're also big nerds about your show, Locke and Key.
I love it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sorry, fangirled. Fangirled all over the place.
That's awesome. Thanks,
so as you know, as a nerd yourself, what was it like to you to be a part of a show that kind of, you know, fits in with our fandom lifestyle?
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't get better than this. I mean, I'm a huge, as I said, Harry Potter fan, and I love Stranger Things and all that kind of stuff. And this really felt like it kind of took all of that, threw it in a blender, and kind of created a Locke and Key. I mean, it's the coolest thing that's ever happened by far. You know, just from the top down, like when I first got cast, I was also a big fan of the TV show Lost when I was in high school. And Carlton Cuse was the showrunner on Lost, and he also showruns Locke and Key along with Meredith Averill. So just that alone was super cool. I mean, it was a dream. It was a dream come true. It doesn't get any better.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So my question, real quick, which I'm a paranormal nerd to the core. Did you really film in that house, or was it sets?
Yeah. So the inside of the house was sets on in this big studio in Toronto. There was an exterior house. I never went there, that I believe was in just north of Toronto. But I might be wrong on this because I was never actually on that location. But I think the top 2 floors were digitally put there. I'm not sure the house is actually that big, but I could be wrong. I totally could be wrong.
Everything.
They even fooled me. It's just so good. Yeah. And I didn't even get to really shoot in the house. We did a fun Instagram video, me and the rest of the Savini squad, where we're in the house. But Doug's house was also a set that was kind of built right next to the Key House stuff. So whenever we were on break, we were always running around and exploring it and checking it out. It was so cool.
That's cool.
Very cool.
So, do you, with Kitsie being a paranormal investigator, do you have any ghost stories or anything strange that's ever happened to you?
You know, not necessarily to me personally. I think with me is like I really love all that stuff in film and stuff, and I think I really do believe in it in the real world, which is why I feel like I've just shut myself off to it, because it kind of scares me. Like I try not to open myself up to it because I believe in it. If that makes any sense.
I was mid-30s.
Like when something happens, I'm like, nope, that's not what it is. I'm not looking. I'm not paying attention. I'm putting the TV on. I'm turning the lights on, and I'm done. But you know, I know my mother had an experience when she was younger. She went because I'm Scottish on her side. And, you know, so when she went back to Scotland when she was younger, she had a bit of an experience. I think she saw something. She woke up in the middle of the night and she saw like a figure sitting in a chair, and she like blinked and it was still there. And like the next morning she spoke to, I think it was her aunt. And they're like, oh yeah. They're like, yeah, someone died in that room. So that's very, very much what happened. So yeah. So I know people that have had it, but me personally, as soon as anything could be, I'm too afraid. I just shut it out. But I love watching it and talking about it. I love it when it happens to other people, not to me.
So if I were to ask you on a ghost hunt, you'd say no.
I would say no, but I'd want you to film it. Maybe I'd like if you like had like a GoPro on, I would like Skype with you and watch you do it, or Zoom with you and watch you do it. But
definitely check out my paranormal show on Amazon Prime if you have Amazon Prime. It's called Oddity Files, and let me know what you think. Start with season 3, please.
Season 3? Okay.
Season 3.
What's it called again? I'm going to write that down. I'm literally going to
It's Oddity Files?
Oddity Files. Where's my notes? There we go.
Yeah, that's so funny because it is. I've known so many people that's like they want to believe, but then as soon as something happens, like, no, I don't want to believe that much.
Exactly.
But
no, literally hearing about it most of my life.
Oh but yeah, Kitsie's got all of the toys and all of the fun stuff to talk with them, and she's got a couple of spirits at home with her.
That's cool, man.
They do follow you home, so maybe you don't want to do it.
That's the thing is it's like I'm intrigued by it, but I'm like I feel like it's rare that it's a one and done. So, I don't know.
Yeah, when you
Intriguing.
open yourself up, then the other side is like, hello, we're here. And
Pandora's box, right?
I'm a beacon in the night now.
Oh, really? Hey? Yeah, I feel like I couldn't handle it. I'd freak out. Good for you, though. That's awesome.
So Jessie, I know, like being a huge nerd and knowing that you were coming on our show, I did do a little research, and I was really excited to talk to you about this story. And then I saw that maybe you weren't going to be so excited about it because you're a Star Wars fan, you're a Star Trek fan, but you have a fear of space.
It's so weird. I know. So yeah. I don't know how to describe it. It's just it's something that kind of hit me when I was in high school. And I mean, I can talk about it, no problem. But yeah, like the idea of going to see a movie like Gravity just call me
no.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Like I will literally have a freak out in the theater. No, but I do. I have a legitimate phobia of outer space. I was in therapy for it. Like I couldn't, if I thought about it, I would freak out. Yeah. And it's, it kind of comes and it goes, and I can watch stuff, but it has to be like under my control. Like I can put Star Wars on. I'm like, this is getting a little too much. I'll pause it. I'll come back. So seeing it in theaters is basically a no-go. I saw Avengers Endgame in theaters, and even the opening in space, like I had to temper myself a little bit. But yeah, it's true.
Oh my God.
It's so vast. I am totally on the same page with you. And aliens, don't even get me started. I'm more scared of aliens than ghosts.
I mean, they're probably about the same kind of a thing to me, but I'm definitely more intrigued by ghosts. Although aliens are cool. It's just, it blows my mind.
I'm not going to lie. I had a moment the other day where I was like, if the aliens are watching, could they maybe fix the coronavirus and get rid of the murder hornets? Like if they're here and they're observing, now would be a good time to introduce yourselves and intervene.
Throw us a bone here. Yeah.
Exactly.
Help us, aliens. You're our only hope.
Yeah, exactly. Very nice. Nicely done. Yes, 100%.
All right. So we play this game, and Shelley, you weren't with us. So on Friday nights we do. So before, we all were staying at home, Jessie, our show we love to be out, and we love to go to movies and go to gaming events and Comic Cons. And so we were always doing kind of nerdy night out events. So in not being able to go out and, and do this kind of stuff with our community, we started doing kind of nerdy night in. So on Friday nights, we open up a Zoom room, and anyone that wants to join us and talk, nerdy stuff and Harry Potter or whatever, it's just sort of a way to be social for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's become almost therapeutic because it's like, I do have plans on Friday night. I might not be able to go anywhere, but dang it, I'm going to see people. So we play we play this game called Wed, Work With, or Wipe Out.
Okay.
And we always, so it's like the PG-13 version of the other game. And work with does mean work with. It's not like,
okay.
dirty work with.
It's not the other thing. I see. Okay. I gotcha.
So last Friday night, we always just kind of like feel out the room and see who's in there and like what the biggest fandom is that we all share. A couple weeks ago, we did the Friends edition, but last Friday night, because it was,
Love Friends. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, do you? Oh.
Yeah. A huge Friends fan. Grew up on it. Yeah. 100%.
All right. Then we might have to do a couple rounds of this with you, Jessie.
I'm down. Let's do it.
Right.
I'm in.
So let's start with the Star Wars, Star Wars edition, since we were in there. Kitsie, what was do you remember your Wed, Work With, and Wipe Out on Friday night?
I had to leave early because I had that episode to record. So give me a second to think on this one. I've got my friend's notes still, but I need a Star Wars one. I know who I'm marrying.
All right. So just so you know, I was really torn between Poe and Han as far as who I was going to marry, but my husband chose to marry Han. So that put me in a position where I was like, well, then Han would be half mine. And so then I can marry Poe. So,
Yeah.
there's a lot of thought goes into this, Jesse.
This is very interesting.
So it was Poe, and then work with Princess Leia because she's my queen, right? Since a little girl, she was everything. And then wipe out. I wiped out Padme because I was so disappointed in her, and
that's fair.
It was, more Jesse.
Series wouldn't have happened without her. You can't.
Well, I mean, I wiped her out after we got the kids, which is pretty much what happened anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was just really disappointing for me as a Princess Leia fan to be like, this is your mother? Like, she's attracted to Anakin? Like, it was just that relationship never made sense to me.
I loved Anakin.
Oh my gosh, you loved Anakin?
He was terrible.
I did.
He
was a terrible actor in that.
Well, he was, but
you know what the thing was? It was like, the way I look at the prequels especially is I think that George Lucas is obviously a genius, and the things he came up with were really, really smart. And I mean, the guy created the whole thing. So if I was in charge, I'm like, listen, George, you can map out the movies, you can break down the scenes, you can create the stuff. Step away from the typewriter with the dialogue. Get away from the typewriter. Bad George, get away.
Yeah.
I think that, all the structure was good. The structure was there. It made sense. It's just like some of the dialogue was clunky.
Yes, absolutely. You're 1,000,000% correct.
And some of the original casting, obviously, of the prequels was incredibly questionable. Right. And even though there were some top actors in it, they couldn't overcome some of the movie's issues, like the dialogue and some of the bad casting. It was just, and then the whole thing with Jar Jar Binks. I mean,
that's who I'm wiping out.
I think,
was gonna say.
Yeah. I gotta say, and I don't know, have you guys watched any of these, going back to Netflix, any of the Netflix series about like how our toys came to be? And there's a whole episode dedicated to Kenner and the Star Wars toys. And how Jar Jar Binks almost took them out of business because it was so bad, because they were all betting on it being this great, like a BB-8 kind of character, or the Ewoks or something, or R2, like everybody loved and everybody hated him, and they had invested a lot of money in Jar Jar Binks toys. I mean,
ouch.
No. It's a miscalculation, to say the least. I get the thought behind it, the funny sidekick. I mean, I understand what they were going for. It's just one of those things that just did not come together, I guess, the way that he wanted. And I'll just put it nicely and say it just didn't come together. That's all.
Really nice. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Look at you being all PC.
Do I have options, or can I pick anyone? How does it work?
So you can pick anyone. It's just with the wipeout, you can't just wipe out a bad guy. Like, that's too easy. Like, we're sticking to the good people, and unfortunately, Jar Jar was one of the good ones. So if you want to wipe him out,
all right,
you can.
I'll challenge myself a bit and not wipe out Jar Jar.
Okay.
I feel like it's so easy. Okay. So I know we're not playing the other game, but I feel like it's marry, work with, wipe out.
Yep.
Is that what you said? Okay.
Yep.
I mean, it's hard not to let the other game bleed in a bit with marry.
I know. And that's fine. You should let that part bleed into marry. That should be a part of marry.
Then I am marrying Daisy Ridley. I'll marry Ray any day of the week. 100%. All Mary Sue things aside, whatever people have said about her, I'll marry her any day of the week. And I think I would work with Leia, 100%.
Nice.
I mean, OG with Leia. God, wipe out. Wow, that's brutal. I mean, who do I wipe out here? And
I will say, it didn't come easy to me saying Padme. I made it sound like I was just like, ugh, I hated her. But at the end of the day, if I was disappointed in any character the most, it was that she wasn't what I envisioned Leia's mother to be.
Yeah. Oh,
but I didn't hate her.
Oh God, that's the thing. Is like, it's such a interesting connotation here. Who do I wipe out? I was about to say Jabba, but he's a bad guy, so that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is kind of mean, and I do like him, so I'm really sorry, but I'll wipe out Finn.
I was this close to that.
It's tough. I like him. Like, it's really now I'm just being
Right.
mean. Like, Jar Jar is the easy one.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I could have gone with Padme too, but I'll go with Finn, and I like him. Like, I'm sorry, John Boyega. I like him. I like the character, but out of everyone, I'll wipe out Finn.
Okay. Okay.
Ooh, that was brutal. Oh boy.
Are you okay? Do you need a minute?
I have recovered. But
Right.
we'll see what happens.
If you end up needing some therapy for this, I'm sorry. Like, that was not my intention.
If I needed it for outer space,
We won't pay for it.
we have $0 if you sue us for this.
Her budget is under zero.
Well, I feel that right now, especially these days. God.
Right? Yeah. It's hard to be sitting at home and not being able to do anything. Is there any plans for more Locke and Key? Did we even get to okay.
There was we were renewed for season 2. But we're not exactly sure. Yeah, it's awesome. We're just not exactly sure when that'll be happening. I think it was probably supposed to be happening around now. I could be wrong. So I guess it's been pushed. I don't want to say indefinitely, but at least until maybe the fall or the summer, just to kind of see what the what the condition of the world is in. So
yeah. I work for a TV show. I'm a crazy cat lady. And I work for a show called Pet Pals TV here in the States.
Okay, cool.
And we were having that conversation today about even when they lift some of this, like, how do we do stories? Do I go out and talk to someone about their cat and I'm 6 feet away from them, or
with a mask
on? Like, is that like, or do we just wait and not continue to do Zoom and things like that? Because would it be weird for the viewer to see us all 6 feet apart and wearing masks to do stories?
Yeah, it's weird. I know I was looking too at what other countries are kind of doing. I think Australia is the one that's starting, soonest, and they're saying, oh, well, you can't have more than 3 characters in a scene, and you can't do intimate scenes, and you can't do certain stunts. And I was like, yeah, that's safe, and that's, I guess, what we should do. But at the same time, it's like, I feel like you're really putting yourself in a bit of a box in terms of what you're going to be able to do, especially for our show. I'm not exactly sure how that would work. And, we've got the writers that could do it, but you're really kind of handcuffing yourself. But is that what's needed? It's a really kind of tricky time right now. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we navigate and how long it's going to take to come out of this, and how stories will change moving forward because of it. All right, Kitsie, wed, work with, and wipe out.
I would wed Han.
Okay.
Because I already have, and I am the general, in case you didn't know. I'd work with Chewie because, Han works with him, and plus he's so sweet and so fluffy, and he's so fluffy I could die. So wipe out. You chose Padme, you chose Finn. Jar Jar is the easy answer, and I think I'm going to stick with Jar Jar. I don't know. Finn could go easily. I believe it would have been the exact same movies as it was, except for, how she, not getting into it. But yes, he could go. And, in the first, what to me was the first 3, which is 3, 4.
The originals.
Yeah.
Thank you. Math is really hard for me. They're just perfection to me, just in my heart and soul, and I don't think I could mess with those at all. So, 3PO could go sometimes. Sometimes he really got on my nerves.
Yeah. He redeemed himself.
3PO.
Oh, 3. Okay.
There you
go. He did something different.
Sharp left. I like it.
I felt like he redeemed himself a little bit in Rise of Skywalker because he was so snarky. Like in other movies, he's just kind of like whiny, and you're like, yeah. I mean, like that's his role. That's what he's supposed to be doing. But in Rise
He was
of
the
Skywalker,
Sheldon.
yeah, he was the Sheldon.
Very well said. That's very true.
But yeah, he had some moments in Rise of Skywalker where he was like, I don't know, like he'd gotten sick of being the one that, everyone rolls their eyes at all the time. He was just, I was like, a couple times, I was like, you get it, C-3PO.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, Shelley, do you have your answers for this?
I feel super torn because Luke Skywalker is and will always be my very first love. So, however, I just rewatched The Mandalorian, so it's Star Wars adjacent, still in the verse, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I may have to say Din Djarin, Mando, because he's Mando. And
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I don't know, man. And it's also Pedro Pascal.
Well, yes.
Yeah, who's so
Right.
hot.
Oberyn Martell himself. Like,
Yeah, exactly. And he was so, I read all of those books, and when I found out and he played that character, it was just perfection for me. So I carried that perfection on over into Mando. So that's my I kind of have to be split between Luke and Mando. My work with, my first thought was Leia because Queen, but I think I'm going to go with another one of my first loves, which would be R2.
I
Everybody loves R2.
He's like the best friend to have. He makes all the stuff happen, right? I mean,
He does.
So R2 is who I would work with and get rid of. And I think wipe out. I think this is going to be pretty controversial. And it's only because I've been watching the Clone Wars, and I'm only in season 2 of the Clone Wars, but I'm pretty irritated with Ben Kenobi. With Obi-Wan.
Oh.
So I think that he had a lot of key parts that he dropped the ball on. So I'm
For example?
he was the main person who was with Anakin during all of those really formative times. And when Anakin, how did he not know that he was going around?
And he was a Jedi. He had to know.
He had to know he was with the Chancellor all the time. I don't understand how he didn't know, and how he was so like, no, he dropped the ball, man. He was like his leader, and he dropped the ball. So there you go.
Excellent point.
Valid.
Yeah, now that I'm watching Clone Wars, I will say that he's a little uppity. I didn't really think about it that way, as like having some responsibility for not, realizing what Anakin was getting himself into. But he is a little pompous in the Clone Wars that I didn't get.
Sure.
Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you watched the Clone Wars, Jesse?
I've watched most of season 1 and then scattered episodes, but I really, really do like it. I have to sit and watch it in chronological order properly, which I fully intend to do. That doesn't bother me as much. I can watch the cartoon stuff, or the animated stuff.
Yeah. So we are watching. It was actually one of our listeners that joined us in a kind of nerdy night in. He gave us, and I'll tweet it again. Because I hadn't started the Clone Wars, and when there's a show that is like so far in and there's so many episodes, and you're almost like, I'm never going to be able to watch all of this. It's the 20 essential episodes of the Clone Wars. So we're going through those right now, and that has been great.
That's smart.
Yes.
That's smart.
That's really
So
good.
there's like 3 or 4 episodes in season 1 and like 4 in season 2. There's a bunch in season 3 that we're getting to right now. But it's great because I have found, even when we've skipped ahead, that we're not missing out on anything, but then we can go back later. Because I'm sure you've like seen some of the tweets and hearing people talk about the way it ended. Like, I want to get to that. So like, it was it was on par with the movies, like the last episodes and the way it ended. I just want to get there. So yeah, I'll tweet that again. That was really helpful. The 20 essential episodes.
Yes, please.
Yes, you got an easy way to binge.
Yeah, please do it.
All right, so
I'm finding on the Clone Wars, and Jesse, you can tell me if you've experienced this too, but even I jumped around a little bit, so he kind of was like, oh, let's go here, and he changes it and whatever. But there's a lot of side politics with some of the clones, like, you know, one of them goes missing and then his voice is heard through the stratosphere and they're trying to find him. He was supposed to be dead. It was like, is this really relevant to, you know, the main people? I don't know.
Right.
But so there's a lot of side stories that happen in the Clone Wars.
I heard that there's like one-off episodes that don't have anything to do with anyone. Yeah, it's really, you know, I appreciate the risk, I guess you'd call it, to do that. But I could see it also being like, some of those journeys weren't worth going on. But yeah, that's super cool.
I mean, that's everybody's life. Come on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you want to go real quickly through Wed Work with Wipeout with Friends, Jesse? Do you think you can handle that?
Oh God, yeah, we can try. It's gonna shatter me no matter what.
Okay.
Oh my God. Okay, out of the 6, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we do any ancillary characters? I don't remember.
We opened it up to like reoccurring ancillary characters.
Yes.
Well, I'm scared with that because I feel like that's gonna make it much easier.
You're gonna stick with the challenge. Okay.
Well, what I'll do is I'll do one with just this. Well, it's really just my wipeout that's gonna change.
Okay.
I'll do one with just the 6, and then I'll get rid of Gunther or Janice or something. Even though my choice. Yeah. Okay. Well, I gotta marry Jen Aniston. I just felt like when you watch that show, in a way, she's sort of the main character of that show. I feel like it really is sort of her story. Yeah, it started off her and Monica, I felt, and then it really became Rachel's story. So, I guess I'd marry.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, it really was. There was so much growth there for her from the from the very first episode to where she ended up. Yeah.
God, to work with, man, that's tough. Because I know, like, it's a bit of a, God, it's so tough.
You must make a decision, Jesse.
I'll say Joey because he's an actor.
Okay,
and we have that in common. And I felt by the end of Friends, he'd sort of become really the heart of it. I felt that he was like the most, like, it's funny because at the beginning he's not irredeemable, but he's kind of, you know, he's a dog and he's kind of whatever. But by the end of the series, he really is sort of the bleeding heart of that group in a way.
Yeah.
So I'll say him and Wipeout. Oh, man. Okay, so for my side, I'll say Gunther since Janice was already said. Even though I like Gunther, I guess I'll wipe out Ross.
Oh,
not my husband.
Let me explain why. I first of all, he might be my favorite character in terms of comedy.
Yes.
I'm wiping him out because he can be a bit whiny.
True.
And you know, I'm not sure he's aged super well as a character. The actor David Schwimmer looks probably the best out of everybody, but
not next to Jen.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like Ross a little dated. Some of his I feel like some of his stuff's a little dated, but I love him. I mean, I thought about Monica too because I felt like towards the end of the show, as much as I really like Monica, I felt she became a bit of a caricature towards the end. So it would be one of the Geller siblings, unfortunately. But I say like that, it shatters me to even say that. Yeah,
I ended up wiping out Monica too because I was like, she gets a little bossy at times, you know, like just a little too much. And honestly, I probably am a little bit Monica myself, so that might be why we don't get along.
Yeah, and I probably share a bit of Ross's whininess, so maybe there's a bit of that in there too. But it's so funny because, like, this is a fun thing I've always kind of said. Monica and Chandler are like my favorite couple on the show. I adore them as a couple, but I felt that towards the end of the series, they both I felt kind of almost became caricatures in the marriage, which was kind of weird. Even though I love them together, I don't know. I'm getting too in my head with it, but yeah.
Well, it's like, what else do we have to do during this time? But really, really think about
exactly
our
all these
characters.
shows. Exactly. Yeah.
But speaking of characters, you on Locke and Key, I'm going to bring this full circle here,
Yes.
are one of my favorites.
Oh,
You're the
thanks.
comic relief. You're a blast. Let's say you could choose where your character ends up going. All dreams fulfilled. What would you want to do?
I definitely, I kind of have this joke with Halia Jones, who plays Eden on the show, which might surprise people. She lives in Toronto as well, so her and I are really, really tight. But I would obviously, selfishly, I'd like him to get in on the secret. I'd love for him to be involved in the actual, in the stuff with the keys. I don't know if that's the direction I'll go, and I'll be happy with whatever they give me. But I'd like to see that. I had this fun idea because, obviously, like myself, since Doug and I kind of look alike, I'm a bit of a bigger guy, and I had this kind of pitch that I was gonna, when I kind of got the nerve to pitch to the writers, which is there's a key in the graphic novels. I don't remember if it's called the Hercules key or one thing where it's just like, I think it's a necklace, and you put it on, you get like really jacked and you get super strong. And I said, it would be cool if they gave me like whatever, a year to prep. If like something happened and the Savinis all had to fight some kind of evil being, and Doug put this thing on and got super, and then he became like addicted to it and almost became like a villain because he was like this bullied kid who finally gets this power, and they have to they realize that he sort of goes out of control, and they've got to he doesn't die, but yeah, they've got to get it away from him and be like, this isn't you, like that whole thing. So that was a fun idea that I kind of had.
You get the roid rage. I see it going down perfectly.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be a great storyline.
Yeah, that'd be super fun. So, if they end up watching with Meredith and Carlton, you can take that idea and take full credit for it.
There we go.
I'm cool with that.
But I'll say I was there when he came up with this excellent idea.
That's right.
Exactly.
Jesse, if our kind of nerdy network wants to connect and follow with you on social media, I know you're on Twitter. Do you want to give out all of the places they can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. Please come at me. I love discussing stuff like this. So, on Twitter, I'm at Jesse115115, which is my homeroom from high school. Just means I haven't changed it in way too long. And on Instagram, I have some fun behind the scenes stuff. I'm still kind of perfecting my Instagram persona. I don't think I've mastered it yet, but I'm under Jesse JD Camacho. So I'm going to try to up the game for people that follow me on there. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Thanks.
I need to ask you one last question. When you see your first paranormal experience, will you let me know?
100 billion%.
You're my guy.
Come on, I'll talk about it, whatever you'd like.
We are going to be waiting for you to join Oddity Files.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally down.
And if you do ever get brave enough that you want to be on the show, you look us up.
Yes.
I mean, maybe, it probably could be fun. I just oh my God, I don't know what would happen. It could be fun for sure.
You might pee yourself, but I won't tell anybody. I'll just get it on camera.
Exactly. No one has to know. It's special effects.
Wow, they got really good with their CG.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Jesse, stay safe. You are you're a part of this now. You're a member of the Kind of Nerdy Network. If you have stuff going on, you start creating stuff because you're bored at home, and you make a short story, whatever you're doing. If we can support you in any way, please reach out to us. We're happy to have had a little bit of your time here and to have you on the show.
Yeah, please. And let's do it again. This was so much fun. I'm totally down.
Yay.
So thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
See you later.
Peace out, guys. Thanks a lot.
Bye, guys.